So, Unity, huh? Oh. How's it going, everybody? My name is Rogue Ren. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're doing a quick little off-the-cusp video. We're going to be talking about Unity. If you don't know, Unity is a game engine. It's the thing that people make video games in. And the other day, they made a little announcement over on their Twitter. If you don't know what a game engine is basically just the program that you use to have the environment to build games. So it's going to have like your physics, it's going to have your lighting and all that stuff, but you add your characters, you add your animations, you add the terrain and all that stuff. It just makes making games a little bit easier because you don't have to build the entire physics and stuff of the world every single time you make a game. You just have one program that does all that for you, and you build from there. You already got your base foundation done for you, essentially. Now, there are a couple different ones. There's ones like Unity, there's Unreal Engine, there's Godot, there is, I think there's one called like Panda 3D, but Unity and Unreal are the two most popular and two most well-known. And a ton of indie games use Unity. And I mean a ton. It is like the standard for indie games. There's a small handful of them that have been made in Godot, I think, but like 99.9% of all the big indie games have been made in Unity, maybe a couple in Unreal. So if we go over to their Twitter, they actually deleted the original post, but if we go over to their Twitter, we can see this post here. Today, we announced a change to our business model, which includes new additions to our subscription plans and the introduction of a runtime fee. We want to provide clarity and clarifying answers to the top questions. Most of you are saying, I can't read today. Yes, this is a price increase, and it will only affect a small subset of current Unity editor users. Really, a small subset. They're essentially going to be asking 20 cents per install for games that have made over $20,000, which isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things for how much money the video game industry makes. That is a single successful indie project could make $20,000. Depending on what they priced it at and how many people bought it. Obviously, numbers are not set in stone. But that's a lot. 20 cents per install is insane. Now, if you're like a higher tier subscription, I think that goes down to like 10 cents and then 2 cents. And I think one of them's like 1 cent per install, which is fucking baffling to me. Why are you charging the people who have more money less of a fee? What? Why are you charging the people who can barely afford to pay the fees they have more fees? That doesn't make sense. It's just going to make people leave your program, which is what a lot of people are announcing they're doing. Basically, the entire indie community has announced they're like, hey, we're not going to use Unity anymore. We're going to look at Unreal Engine. We're going to look at Godot, which is really early on. It is honestly still a little bit not exactly beta. It's just very early access, I guess is the best way to describe it. It's not actually early access, but it's free, so you don't pay for it. But it's it's good. I'll get into that later. Today, a large majority of Unity editor users are currently not paying anything. It will not be affected by this change. Yeah, because people are using Unity to do stuff like make VTubers and make VR chat worlds. They're not making games with it. That's why so many people aren't paying anything, because they're not selling anything. The Unity runtime fee will not impact the majority of our developer. Are you sure about this? Because it sounds like it's going to impact a large number of developers. The developers who will be impacted are generally those who have successful games that are generating revenue way above the thresholds we outlined in our blog. Really now? You sure about that? Because I don't think that I would consider. It sounds like what they're trying to do is they're trying to charge stuff like Genshin Impact, which sees just an obscene amount of money for every person that installs it. But they're also impacting games like Cult of the Lamb, which doesn't see anywhere near as much money, and they're going to be charging them the same. Probably Genshin Impact less, because they're probably a higher tier subscriber than Cult of the Lamb is. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's so asinine. It is just a slap in the face to every single indie developer. This means developers who are still building their business and growing an audience of their games will not pay a fee. The program was designed specifically this way to ensure developers could find success before the initial fee takes place. You've failed on that front. I can tell you that right now. Judging from every single indie game studio that I've seen, which is so many big ones like Hades, Cult of the Lamb. Oh my gosh, I had a picture of all of the ones and now I can't find it. But it was like every single bigger name indie studio you could think of was saying, hey, this Innersloth, the people who made Among Us. They literally said that if this isn't rolled back, they're pausing all new content to remake Among Us in a new engine. I want to be clear that the counter for Unity runtime fee install starts on January 1st, 2024. It is not retroactive or perpetual. We will charge once for a new install, not an ongoing perpetual license royalty like revenue share. Okay, that's a little better because they didn't clarify that at first. So it is only the first install. It's still stupid, but it's not quite as bad. It still shouldn't exist. This is still a really stupid fee. I'm not trying to defend this in any way. I still think it's fucking stupid, but it's not quite as horrific as initially thought. We looked for ways to lessen the impact on developers and provide ways to bring the runtime fee to zero. If you're using any of our ad products, Unity game services or cloud services, etc., please contact us to discuss Oh my gosh, you just want to have your ads. You just want to have your ads in the game. That's what this all boils down to. They just want to have their ads in the game. They got bought out by an ad company. Either they bought out an ad company or an ad company bought them out. I can't remember which. Oops, I just hit my microphone. One of those two. They want to put their own ads. They want to be the Google of game engines. They want to have their ads in their stuff and have full control. I guess more like the Apple then, if they want to do all their own stuff. And you can see all of the replies are just memes and people shitting on them. You got like Commander Carl saying like, you just fucked up real bad. Epos Vox rip Unity. There is also someone who asked a question. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. How are installs tracked? We leverage our own proprietary data model, so you can appreciate that we won't go into a lot of detail, but we believe it gives an accurate determination of the number of times the runtime is distributed for a given project. And to that, I just say, trust me, bro. That is what they're saying. How do we know how many installs are being tracked? We have a way. What is it? We're not going to tell you. This is so stupid. You literally cannot be more stupid than this. All of this happened. A lot of people started looking at the Godot engine, which I think is really cool. I love that engine. It is fully open source. It's fantastic. It works similar to Unity. It's not the same. It's never going to be Unity. It's not a drop-in replacement for Unity. Don't expect it to be a drop-in replacement for Unity. It's its own thing. It's just similar in scope to Unity, where like it tends to do more stylized games rather than hyper-realism like Unreal Engine does. That's what I mean when I say it's similar to Unity and like the types of games people tend to make with it. But one of the leads from Godot, which is Remy, I think it's just Remy. He's the project manager and maintainer. He made this post about Unity and Godot. Some big news yesterday. I'm appalled at the impact this will have on the Unity ecosystem and game dev at large. There is just no way this can lead to anything good for anyone except Unity. Actually, no, not even for Unity, because everyone's going to leave their engine. So I'd say they shot themselves in the foot, but they took a hacksaw to their entire leg. Godot engine is getting a lot of positive attention and reaction, so I want to address a few things. Many Unity devs rightfully feel threatened by this change and want to abandon Shift after a series of bad leadership decisions. Lots of people say they'll switch to Godot, or are considering it. I strongly believe that a foundational tech should be FOSS, so I welcome this. But I also strongly believe that such a decision shouldn't be rushed and taken out of spite and anger. Unity's install fee will likely be withdrawn given the backlash, but the writing's on the wall and the trust has been broken. Use the time you have available to consider options fairly. I love that you're eyeing Godot, but take your time to weigh the pros and the cons. It's a great engine, but no software is perfect, and we don't want you to come to it in a panic and end up frustrated that it might not be the drop-in replacement for what you had to leave behind. I am struggling to read today. Brody's rubbing off on me. More than anything, we want people to have access to technology that empowers them to create the games they want to make and have a good experience doing so. Godot is one such option, but there are many others, both FOSS and proprietary. Try a few out before settling again. If you need insight on where Godot is currently and where it's headed, I'm happy to discuss. You can ask questions in this thread or DM me or MECPL, who I'm assuming is another head of the project. Let me double check just to be sure who this is. Yeah, Executive Director of the Godot Foundation. Okay, cool. If you're considering Godot for your games, we want you to do it in the right conditions so you can thrive. That is such a level-headed take. It's like, hey, I love you're looking at my engine as an alternative. That is fantastic. Please weigh the pros and cons and make sure it's going to work. That is such a good response. Because, I mean, you want new users. You want people to use your stuff. But you also don't want those users to come in frustrated that it's not doing a one-for-one translation of what they had. And that, oh, this sucks, just throw it out. It's like people who are using Windows, they'll go to Linux and they'll be like, oh, I can't use Adobe. This whole thing sucks. It's like, no, you just can't do this one thing. You got to do it different. It doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it can't do what you need it to. That's fine. Don't assume the whole thing's bad just because it can't do the one thing you need. Just understand that, hey, it's going to be different. If being different isn't going to work for you, stick with what you've already got. You've already got a system that works. No need to break it. I personally think that you should use more FOSS stuff, so I'm going to fully push Godot for anyone considering it, but make sure, again, as they said, make sure it works. I'd say at the very least, just try it, see if you can get something that works well or works good enough for you to leave Unity and go from there. Now, I'm sure there are many others who have made videos on this. I'm almost certain Mutahar, Some Ordinary Gamers, has made a video on this by now. Brody has probably made a video on this by now. This is more in line with the video that Brody would make. I just wanted to put my thoughts out there. I really wanted to show that. Oh, I got a hair on my microphone. I really wanted to show that little section from the Godot people because I really think that Godot is a fantastic engine, and I want people to be aware that it exists. I want people to try it out. I also want people to, like he said, be aware that it's not going to be a one-to-one replacement for Unity. It's not going to work flawlessly exactly the way you thought. It's going to be a different workflow. It might be kind of similar, but it's going to be different at the end of the day. Last I checked, all of Unity stuff is based off like C# programming language. Godot's programming language, Godot script, is like a modified version of Python, which may be easier or harder depending on who you are. I'm not a programmer. I don't really know the difference. I just know they're programming languages that exist. But hey, that's going to be pretty much it for this video. It's just a little off the cusp recording that I wanted to make just to get something out there talking about this situation. I'm going to probably be doing more of these as the weeks go on and the months go on, just to get back into making videos again after I had so many computer issues for so long. If you don't check out my streams, I stream over here on the same channel every week or so, and also join my Discord so you can see when I do stuff and also chat. I've also got it bridged to Matrix if you'd rather use that, but I'm usually on Discord. But if you're not up to date with that, I swapped operating systems. So I'm no longer on Pop! OS. I'm now on Nobara, which is based off Fedora. Just kind of wanted to get more used to the Fedora environments, that sort of stuff. But hey, that's going to be it for me. I'm going to go ahead and not ramble on. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, check out Patreon, whatever, all that stuff. Links and all that stuff is down below. Follow me on Mastodon, follow me on Twitter, join my Discord, join my Matrix. I don't care. I do care, actually. I care very much. Please talk. I need friends. please, I need social interaction. But that's going to be it for me. I will see you all next time. Check out the streams if you want to chat, and I'll see you around. Peace out.